Fire and an Empty Saddle, number 15 from The Raven, Revenge and the Reckoning. Sam Crow looked up at the sun. It was straight overhead and blistering hot. He wiped the sweat from his brow and patted the neck of his red-dun mare. "I know, little girl, you're thirsty," he murmured. "We'll find water soon." He glanced behind him, his brow creased with worry, and pressed forward. They needed to reach the ranch before that prairie fire caught up with them. The crew had been out for nearly 3 months, and now they were finally heading in. Sam was running the outfit since Jerry Harnd had died, and the foreman, Ed Milner, up and quit. The weight of it all sat heavy on his shoulders, but he didn't show it. He'd never had the luxury. To the east, he spotted the chuck wagon cresting a ridge, 2 mules hitched, and Lazarus Smith holding the reins. Sam could hear the cattle bawling behind and just make out the tips of their horns glinting under the sun like a sea of ivory. Cowboys rode wide on both flanks. Shouts and whistles echoed across the plains. Out front, the wrangler Bill Puck led the drive, riding a big pinto gelding. Solid, dependable. Sam trusted Bill to hold the herd together. Smoke boiled in the west, ugly, dark, and gaining. The fire was out of hand now. If they didn't reach the Canadian River soon, they would be cut off, and it would trap them in a hell of ash and flame. Sam waved to Lazarus. He nodded and slapped the mules into a trot. 2 more miles, Sam muttered, squinting toward the river. Just 2 more. His long black hair clung to his face. He yanked off his hat, looped it over the saddle horn, and tied his hair back with a strip of leather. His mother had taught him that as a boy. She was a Mescalero Apache, quiet, strong, and never one to waste words. His father, long gone now, had been a mule skinner running government freight up the Santa Fe Trail. He died from a rattlesnake bite while hitching his team one morning. They found him days later, already gone. His mother never spoke ill of him. He was a good man, she said, and Sam believed it. That quiet kind of good, the kind that shows up every day and doesn't ask for praise. After his father's death, Sam and his mother had returned to the Mescalero Reservation. Life got harder, but grit grew in him like the roots of a desert rock. For the last 5 years, Sam had worked for Jerry Harnd, hired on as a jigger boss, and since Jerry's death, he answered to Mara. Good, strong-willed woman, knew how to run a crew. They were short-handed, but they were managing, and he turned the mare and nudged her into a lope. Within minutes, he'd reached the river. To his surprise, the banks were low and the water shallow, a crossing clear and open. "Thank God," he whispered, almost in disbelief. He wheeled the mare and galloped back, waving his hat high. Bill Puck saw him first and signaled to the rest. The herd turned. Sam cut a wide circle, pushing hard. When the lead steers hit the river, they didn't stop. When the lead steers hit the river, they tried to stop and drink, but Sam hollered and pushed them through. They could drink on the other side. Behind him, Lazarus held back the wagon as the last cattle crossed. The fire crested the ridge. Just as the final wheels hit the far bank, smoke rolled low, flames licking the sky no more than 300 yards out. Sam exhaled hard. "Hey, warrior," Bill Puck shouted. You got us across safe and sound," Sam grinned. "If it weren't for your slacking, Bill, we'd already been at the ranch." Bill let out a yelp of laughter. "The day you find a man who can work like Bill Puck, I'll gladly hand over the reins." The horses had been running with the herd. Now Bill started cutting them out. It didn't take long. 8 men, 5 horses apiece, 40 in the remuda. He moved them about a half a mile downstream and let the cattle settle. They were maybe 3 miles from the ranch now, and the sun was sinking. They'd camp for the night and ride in at first light. Sam turned to Lazarus. "Hey, you're the boss for now. I'm heading in to let Mara and Lottie know we're coming." With that, he swung the red-dun mare around and loped off toward the ranch. He'd be there in 15 minutes. Sam Crow crested the last ridge just as the sky turned copper. The ranch came into view. Familiar quiet, the porch light flickering faintly against the dusk. But something made him slow. Near the corral stood a gruel colt, saddled, reins trailing, sides lathered in dried sweat. The gelding's head hung low, ribs heaving like he'd completed a long, punishing run. Sam frowned. He knew that colt. It was one of the last fall's 4-year-olds. Bill had saddled him 3 or 4 times, but he wasn't broke, wasn't fit for a long ride, not yet, and no one was supposed to be riding him. Not that Sam knew of. He dismounted, unsaddled the red-dun mare, and walked slowly to the gruel. His eyes scanned the gear. Bedroll tied on tight, lever-action rifle still in the scabbard. He reached out and popped the latigo strap still tight. Whoever rode the horse knew what they were doing. But they were gone. Sam reached up and touched a dark stain on the saddle leather. His fingers came away sticky with dried blood. "Son of a bitch," he muttered. He turned and strode for the house. Mara looked up from the table as he came through the door. Lottie just behind her, drying her hands. Sam didn't wait. "Why's that Grula colt saddled?" he said. "He's standing out there half dead with a bloody rig and no rider." Lottie's eyes widened. "What? Which one?" "Black Mane, the one your father liked. One of the green ones from last fall. He's been running hard and whoever was on him ain't with him now." Lottie paled. "Was there a rifle in the scabbard?" "Yeah. Leather stock wrap, 4440. Sam nodded. Lottie's voice dropped in a whisper. "That's Killian's. What could have happened to him? We've got to go looking for him. You can't just leave him out there. He might be hurt." Sam blinked. "Who the hell is Killian?" Mara, who had been walking toward the fireplace, stopped and spun on her heel. "Are you sure it's the Grula from the corral?" "I'm sure," Sam replied. Mara sat down at the table. Killian was a drifter, looked like a drowned rat, all worn out and soaking wet when he showed up. "We took him in. He worked hard, quiet man, earned his keep. I offered him a job before he left, but he turned it down. He was a top hand. Knew we could use another one. His horse was tuckered out, said he'd been riding every day for 2 months and wondered if we'd trade. Lottie wanted a broke horse, and his gelding was 12 years old, real nice horse, just needed rest. We traded Buck for the Grula." Sam ran a hand through his hair, jaw clenched. "He ain't back. The horse is, and it looks like he's been running and it looks like it run itself to death." "What do you want to do, Mara?" he asked. She stood. "We can't leave him out there. We'll have to go look for him." Sam turned and walked out. The women followed. The gelding hadn't moved. Mara ran her hand down his side. Lottie untied the bedroll, loosened the latigo strap, and pulled the heavy saddle off, carrying it to the barn. Sam crouched, studying the dirt. Hoof prints looked deep. The distance between strides long. "Looks like the horse came in at a gallop," he said, fingers skimming over scuffs and bends in the grass. He came in fast, alone, no blood trail into the yard. No fight here. He stood slowly. This horse came home. Whatever happened, it was out there. He looked at Mara. "I'll ride to the herd and let them know we'll need to leave tonight. Do you need to pack more things? Make sure you and Lottie bring saddlebags and rifles, too," he called over his shoulder. "I'm going to saddle one of those 4-year-olds to ride. My mare's tuckered." "Which one's doing the best?" he asked, looking at Lottie. She shrugged. "That steel gray mare wasn't too bad. She might crow hop a few times, but Killian rode her 3 times. The sky was black when he got back, the wind rising, clouds swollen and low. The steel gray mare was breathing easy. Sam swung down and went straight to the bunkhouse. "I'm getting my rifle," he called over his shoulder. Lottie was tightening the last strap on her scabbard, sliding her lever-action rifle deep into the leather. Mara's old McClellan saddle was already cinched to the chestnut mare she had ridden off and on for years. Sam returned in minutes, grabbed the oil lantern hanging from the barn wall, and struck a match. The wick flared to life, casting a weak yellow halo against the dark. "We'll lose the trail by morning if it starts raining hard," he said, sliding the rifle into the scabbard. Lottie nodded. Mara mounted without a word. "Here, take my mare," he said, passing the rope of the gray mare to Mara. "I'm going to walk and carry the lantern." Rain started just as they crossed the edge of the yard. Light at first, a whisper over the dirt. Sam hunched into his coat, lantern swinging beside him. His eyes looked on the ground like it was speaking a language only he understood. The Grula's trail cut east through the prairie, deep where it started, but fading with every drop of rain. Behind him, they were riding out into the dark with no idea what they'd find. Half an hour out, Sam pulled up suddenly. The lantern light caught something in the dust. A single dark stain, dried. He touched it, then stood slowly, looking back at Mara, and shook his head. "It looks like blood, but the trail's still good. We need to keep moving. This rain's picking up. If I had to guess, I'd say that gelding ran at least 5 miles to get back to the barn. But it's hard to say. With any luck, we should find him before midnight." He pulled his jacket tighter, hunched his shoulders against the wind, and kept walking. The rain grew heavier, a steady drum against Sam's hat. The lantern glow flickered, casting long shadows that danced across the wet prairie. The guerrilla's tracks were fading fast, the hoof prints softened in the mud. Sam cursed under his breath, squinting at the ground. Every step felt like a gamble now. The trail dissolved under the downpour. Mara rode close, her chestnut mare snorting softly. Lottie trailed, her eyes scanning the darkness beyond the lantern's reach. Sam paused, raising the lantern to study a patch of trampled grass. The guerrilla had veered here, the strides uneven as the horse had stumbled or shied. He crouched, fingers brushing the sodden earth. No blood, no sign of a struggle, just a faint curve of hoof prints half washed away. "Anything?" Mara called out. Sam shook his head. "Trail's getting thin. He was moving fast here, but something spooked him." He stood wiping his hands on his pants. "We keep going east. That's all we've got." They pressed on, the night swallowing the world beyond the lantern's dim halo. The prairie stretched endless, a sea of shadow and rain. Somewhere out there was Killian alone or worse. Sam's jaw tightened to the thought, but he said nothing. He'd learned long ago that hoping didn't change what you found at the end of a trail.